Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gilloway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is our high school football Week 10 recap show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts, at least three of them. We have three experts tonight. The other two are elsewhere. And then we have a couple special guests, too, that are going to join us. Let us mention our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors first, and then we'll get the show going. Rickabaw's Electric, Payor Apparel, Ted's Bar and Grill, Hoffman Ford, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, The Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, Modern Imprint, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Crystal Bobbitt, Howard Hanna Real Estate, Underdog Sports Bar and Grill, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Sam Hartley Decking, and Tonino's Pizza. Thank you to those great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. Upcoming on our Gazette Sports Chat, our weekly podcast, episode 17 will be tomorrow night, and we're going to talk to three of the area's premier multi-sport girls athletes. We have Emma Kostelak-Lauer from Trinity. We have Anna Lehman from Northern York and Sienna Mans from Cumberland Valley. And if you missed it, episode 16, which was, I guess, 3 or 4 days ago, we had Nolan Bazalka, Noah Doy, and Josh Smith. We had the boys' side of our multi-sport athletes. So it's a 2-show series. The first one's in the books. That was the boys. Now we have the girls tomorrow night. This coming Wednesday, we have a really big show. It's our post-season preview show. So we're going to talk about Week 10 tonight. We may not get into a lot of bracketology and all that. We're going to save that for Wednesday. So this week in our panel, we have Ben Dupree and Dave Burman, and these are guys that are with us every week. So we have a panel of 5, and sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4, and we'll be fine. So anyway, we've come to the end of a 10-game high school football regular season, and tonight we'll touch on many of the Week 10 games and the regular season as a whole. But before we do that, we're excited to have 2 special guests join us for the first portion of the show. Their teams both earned convincing wins on Friday night and capped off Mid-Penn Conference Division championships. And we have Trinity's Christian Joy and Mechanicsburg's Eli Ryder. Hello, fellas. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here, and we've been following you all year. You know, we watch football. That's what we do. So I actually, Christian, I worked your game against East Penn. I worked for Penn Live that night in the booth, and that's kind of when I really realized that you knew what you were doing out there. You know what I mean? You had a really good game. I told these guys, I was like, God, you got to see this Christian Joy kid from Trinity. I said he ran all over East Penn. But anyway, let's start with Christian. Stop me if I'm wrong here, but I'm going to kind of set the stage for where you guys are as a team right now. 2 seasons ago, your team won 10 games, including a District 3 title and a trip to the Class 2A state semifinals, finished Final 4 in the state. Then last season, with a lot of the same talent, you went 8-4 and got upset by kind of neighborhood or area rival Camp Hill in the district championship game. That was followed by the loss of key players to graduation and transfer, along with your head coach and much of his staff resigning. And what were your thoughts after all that, Christian? Probably 2 years ago as a sophomore. Were you on the field playing at all?
As a sophomore, yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? All that I said, did I kind of send everybody down the right path there?
Yes, you got everything right.
Okay, yeah. We have viewers at home that really haven't followed it. I've followed it, and you guys kind of went like that in the course of 3 seasons. I mean, 2 years ago, it was like, wow, we're on the doorstep of a state championship here. We might just be a piece or 2 away, or need to grow up another year, and then all of a sudden, it just wasn't that way. What did it feel like after the staff kind of left you, most of them, and you lost some key players to transfer?
I mean, it was obviously a big loss because, like you said, we went from losing a district championship all of a sudden, and then losing like half our team, our coaching staff. It was a lot to deal with, but the new team, we just knew we had to face adversity and just go out next season and just play our hearts out.
And let me mention too, that was the middle of May. That was 3.5 months before the regular season. And you guys know, Ben, you play football at a high level. 3.5 months is a short window when you're talking about kind of revamping and rebuilding. Maybe not the whole program, but you have to bring in new coaches. The coaches have to meet the players have to meet the coaches. Everybody's got to get on the same page. What's the new culture going to be like? So they got everything together in 3.5 short months. But then comes Coach. Is it Yarnovic? Kevin Yarnovic?
Yep. Well,
Yarnovic. Okay, I had him on my show earlier before the season, and he was given the interim coach job. I hope they remove the interim part of his. But what did he change there? I mean, and how has this culture different than it was? And this is with all respect to the guys that left. I'm not putting any players down that transferred. I'm not putting any coaches down that left. But something had to change. You guys were picked to go 7th in the division this year. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured. What changed? What did Coach Yarnovic change there?
If I'm gonna be honest, not trying to put Coach Hill down, but because Coach Hill was a great head coach, but Coach Yarnovic, he held us at a higher standard. So like he just wanted us to be the best versions of ourselves, and he just really pushed us to be those young men that we were supposed to be. That's really it.
Good. Okay.
Well, Coach Yarn was already on staff, though, correct?
Yes,
he was. He was our offensive line coach, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
Eli, I'm going to jump over to you, and then I'll let Ben and Dave take over here and ask some questions. 4-6 2 years ago, record 5-5 last season. Then in comes new head coach Dave Heckert. Okay, and again, we're going to say the same thing. This is all with all respect to the coach or coaches that left. That's just what happens in sports. New coaches come in. This season, you're 10-0 with a Keystone Division title and a number 2 seed in the District 3 5A tournament. What changed under Coach Heckert? Same question. How did the culture change?
Yeah, I mean, he just had us coming with a different mentality, had us working harder in the off season, becoming closer together, and really just helped us grow up a little bit and just be better than we were before.
And he's a wrestling coach too, so that can't be easy, man. having him train you or hold you to those standards of the training and the workouts and all that. So how do you guys stay grounded? You're 10-0. I mean, I'm going to say it. You don't have to agree with me, but you guys are kind of on top of the world right now. And how do you stay grounded and mindful that the other teams they're putting on their pants one leg at a time too, just like you guys are?
Yeah, I mean, we're really happy with how the season went so far, but we're just trying to stay focused and try and do some damage in the playoffs and not take any opponents lightly. Just play every game as best as we can. 1 week
at a time, huh?
Yep.
Okay, Ben, Dave, you guys want to jump in?
Real quick, I love the history of the game.
Yep.
From Mechanicsburg, the last time they made the postseason was 2020. And I think you had to play Nick Singleton, and you lost 68-14.
Governor Mifflin.
Yeah, Governor Mifflin semifinal. Okay. So the last playoff victory for Mechanicsburg, this is going to give you some fuel here. The last playoff win was 2008 in the AAA quarterfinal. You beat Daniel Boone 31-7. That's quite some time ago. So congratulations, and try to get that monkey off your back.
Good. Ben?
Yeah, Eli, I was going to mention that about the playoffs. Going into the playoffs, you got a bye week. Just talk about how you're feeling right now as far as you're in the same bracket. We all watched all the bracket. You're in the same bracket as McDevitt, but you don't have to see them till later. We don't have to get into all that. But just talking about the playoffs, and do you think the regular season prepared you for the matchups that you're going to have to face?
I mean, I think we played some good teams in the regular season, but we haven't really been tested. We haven't really been in a close game yet. So, I mean, I hope that when we do get in a close game here in the playoffs, we'll be able to perform and just come away with the win.
That's a smart approach. I mean, yeah, because you have to be prepared for something that you haven't had to face, and it's going to happen. Like you said, it's going to happen. Christian, what's the mood entering the opening round of districts? You do have a bye in the opening round, but how's the team feeling and the coaching staff, the whole program there?
I mean, as you know, we have this bye week, so our guys are feeling good about this bye week because our bodies are all messed up and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we just have a chip on our shoulder, because last year losing the district championship to Camp Hill, we just really won it this year, and I just want to end my senior year as at least win the district championships.
And for those at home that don't know, Trinity is in Camp Hill. That's why I kind of mentioned that there's got to be a rivalry there, or it's actually in Shireman's Town, I guess. But Shireman's Town and Camp Hill are kind of intertwined there. So that's good. So you guys pretty healthy though heading into the postseason, Christian?
Yeah, our guys are pretty good. I mean, nah, it's 50-50. Like some of our guys are banged up and then some of our guys are good.
Right.
But yeah, we really just need this bye week to get our bodies right and minds as well.
Right. And I have one more question, then I'm going to let you guys take over, finish it out. Eli, Josh Smith. What's it like being a teammate to Josh Smith? And I had him on. We have a weekday show too, and he was on my show, I guess, 3 or 4 days ago with Nolan Bazolka and Chris, Noah Doy. But man, I mean, he just kind of, with respect to everybody else on the team, that's that guy that if the chips are down or you need to get a big first down or a big play of any sort, he's probably going to be that guy for Mechanicsburg, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime we need a big play, we know we can go to him. Anytime, it seems like we don't have much to go on, we can go to him, and he always, usually comes through. Yeah. And it's just awesome to have a guy like that on our team, guy that we know can always make a play at any time.
Yeah, we have the pleasure, those of us that watch the game, we have the pleasure of watching him. You have the pleasure of throwing to him and handing off to him and winning with him and, high-fiving him and hanging out with him. And he just seems like an awesome young man, too. We really enjoyed having him on the show. Ben?
Yeah, Christian, let's take a second. I know some feelings involved, but let's go back to the Susquehanna Township game. Now, I'm going to be honest. That's probably the top. I've probably watched about at least 20 high school games this year. And that's definitely in the top 3, along with the St. Joe's Prep versus LaSalle and the Harrisburg versus McDevitt. Those 3 games were classics, instant classic.
You nailed it, Ben. I agree.
so let's talk about, it was an emotional loss. It was close, but you guys bounced back. Just talk about that week after, because I know how it feels. Nobody feels like practicing after a loss. You felt like you lost the league championship, which you ended up ultimately winning. But just talk about how y'all regained just the chemistry, and did it bring you guys closer together?
So obviously it was an emotional loss, but right after the game, we knew we beat ourselves. Like it went double overtime. We beat ourselves. Like that Susquehanna, that team's not better than us, if I'm gonna be honest. Our team knew that, and we just knew that we beat ourselves, and we were going to come back next week ready to win, and that's what we did.
There's a man with a lot of confidence there, and I wouldn't argue against that. To me, it kind of looked like a 50-50 game. The only time that your defense kind of stopped resisting a little bit was the last couple plays of the game. I mean, you guys play, and that's with all respect. You guys are out there trying to cover some really good athletes, but yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, and that game definitely should prepare you for the next couple games that you're going to see before you get to the states. Like you guys should be ready to win districts. You guys should win districts, honestly.
That was like a postseason game. It really was. Had all the feelings and all the makings of it. Dave, anything else before we start? We're going to break down these 2 games that these guys were involved in. They're going to sit in with us for that.
Yeah, 3rd straight trip to the playoffs for Trinity after going 10 years without making the postseason. How do you like that? Christian, were you part of the team 2 years ago that beat Anvil Cleona for the AA District 3 championship?
Yes, I was. I was honored to be a part of it. I transferred from McDevitt that year, so I sat out for the first 3 games of the year. Then I came back on the team, and I was a key part of it, and I was just really honored to be a part of that team.
Okay.
And then let's add, before Dave, I don't know if you were going to, so I wouldn't have mentioned that they went the whole way to the state semifinals, lost to eventual state champion Southern Columbia.
Yeah.
So they kind of got
lost. We got blown out.
we don't use those terms on this show. I don't when I'm talking to student athletes, at least. Yeah, they handed it to you. That's right. But that's kind of what they do, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Southern
I got
Columbia,
a quick question for Eli after Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, go
they're a
ahead.
little Southern Columbia. So the team in AA you have to watch out for is Troy. But we're talking, you guys are AAA, right? So
Yeah.
Ben?
So Eli, how many years have you been the starting QB at Mechanicsburg?
I started playing. I think I was the starter the last game of my sophomore season, and then all of my junior year and all of my senior year. So 2 years in one game.
So as Coach Dave, has he simplified the offense to allow you to have more success, or did he expand the offense to you to have more success?
I mean, we still have the same offensive coordinator that we had the past 2 years. He's still back this year, even with the new head coach. So it's mostly been the same stuff, and it's mostly been the same guys. So we've been able to kind of expand what we did the past 2 years and grow on what we've done and get even better this year, I would say.
That's not common that a new head coach keeps his coordinators. He must think the world of the offensive coordinator there. He must really respect him a lot. Okay, so let's jump into these games. We call these our lead games. We usually have one, maybe one or two, depending on how important they were and how great the outcomes were. Mechanicsburg, Shippensburg. Both teams entered the game 9-0. They were playing for all the marbles there in the Mid-Penn Keystone Division, and Mechanicsburg walked away with a 42-21 win. I'm just going to break it down a little bit here. Mechanicsburg finishes 10-0, wins the Keystone, earns a number 2 seed in the District 3 5A tournament. Shippensburg drops to 9-1, second in the Keystone, earns a number 5 seed. Game was never in question. I watched the whole game. Mechanicsburg up 14-0 after 1, 28-7 at half, 42-7 after 3 quarters. And Ben, you played football. How much does a coach like this? They scored 14 in the first quarter, 14 in the second quarter, 14 in the third quarter. I mean, that's a coach's dream right there, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It shows consistency.
Right, exactly. And then they didn't score in the fourth quarter because they didn't need to. You know what I mean? They just it was respectful. You know, it was respectful. They knew that they had the game in hand. Josh Smith, 5 receptions, 131 yards and a touchdown. Two rushes for 74 yards and a touchdown. He eclipses 1,000 yards receiving for the second straight season. He added an interception on defense. Quarterback Eli Ryder, our guest here, of course, 13 of 18, 206 yards, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Three passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. That is a clean game for a quarterback. And then running back Dom Baker, 9 carries for 114 yards and a rushing touchdown, 3 receptions for 37 yards and two touchdowns in the air. And then here's the last thing. Mechanicsburg, no turnovers, no punts, just total domination. Ben, I'm going to bring you back in. You heard what I just said about how they kind of went to work and really just did everything. I'm sure not everything right, but it looked to me like everything right. Is that again like a coach's dream to watch a team execute like that?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys probably got about 8-9 yards of play, if not more. So shout out to you and your coaches on.
Oh, we lost him. So Eli, good time to bring you in, buddy. You were the quarterback there, and I mentioned that you had a great game, 13 of 18, 206 yards. Your team kind of didn't need you to throw the ball a whole lot because you were running the ball well, but you guys really mixed it up well. Was that the goal?
I don't know what just happened.
Was that the goal going in to kind of mix up the run and the pass
Y'all hear me?
game? Yes, we can, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, every game we just say, like, take what they give you. So if they're loading the box, getting ready for the run, then we'll try and throw it around. And then if they're dropping off into coverage, then we can just hand it off and trust our line, trust our running backs to do their job. So it's great being able to mix it up and do some of both.
Right. Now, 28-7 at half, that's a nice lead, though, but it's only 3 touchdowns. Probably right around the end of the third quarter, you're up 42-7. What's it feel like? I mean, you guys busted your butts all year long, for 9 games. You busted your butts all week long in practice. What's a win like that, or you're getting close to a win after 3 quarters? How's it starting to feel on the sidelines?
Yeah, it's a great feeling on the sidelines. I mean, it's always fun when we get to kind of take our helmets off and just watch those younger guys.
Right.
Watch some of the guys that don't get in as much, watch them get out there and try and make some plays themselves. So that's usually a great part of the game. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, and that's an old school stadium over there, isn't it? In Shippensburg.
Yeah, it is old. Yeah.
It kind of
Grass.
looked.
Do they still have grass, or they put turf yet?
I think
No, it's still grass. It was
grass.
closer to dirt in the middle than grass, actually. But
So you guys got the number 2 seed, and you get a bye, and then you face the winner of number 7 Cocalico and number 10 Hershey, and you're probably familiar with Hershey,
Yep.
right? You beat them earlier in the season. So, Eli, best wishes. Great season so far. Best wishes for a wonderful postseason. Stay healthy and win a lot more games. And then let's bring Christian in here. Trinity 56, Middletown 21. More kind of total domination, you know. Middletown had kind of, we talked about them every week here, Dave and Ben. They kind of had a middle of the season where they started coming around and winning some games, but certainly didn't go out the way they wanted to. Trinity finishes 8-2 overall, 7-1 in the Mid-Penn Colonial Division, and good for first place. They get the hardware. Middletown goes to 3-7 and 2-6 in the division. Trinity again, number 2 in 3A. Middletown is out of the playoffs. Middletown led 7-0 after 1 quarter. Trinity led 35-7 at the half. So if anybody out there just did the math, that's 35-0 in the second quarter. What was going on there, Christian? Like after the first quarter, you guys are down 7-0. Things probably just didn't feel right, huh?
I mean, yeah, it was a little weird because we came into the game knowing we're supposed to dominate these guys.
Mm-hmm.
They just came out on it. Well, we kicked the ball off, and it was at the 1 yard line, and they went from the one. They had a 99-yard drive for the whole first quarter, and from there, after the first quarter, our head coach, Coach Jonovich, he brought the whole team together, and he was like, "You guys need to lock in. You guys know we're supposed to dominate these guys, and let's do it." And so, the second quarter, we came out and we dominated them.
Let's just say that you responded, because that's 35-0 in 1 quarter. That's total domination.
Yeah.
306 total rushing yards for your team. 224 combined for you and Brandon Harris. You had 8 carries for 127 yards and a touchdown. Brandon 3 for 97 and a touchdown. If you guys have a choice, do you want to run the ball as much as possible?
I can't speak for my coaches, but I would think so. Yes.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like
Well,
you guys.
I can speak as somebody watching. You guys definitely run the ball better than y'all throw the ball.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it looks like when you're clicking on all cylinders, it's when you're running the ball well, your team, and that's with respect to your quarterback and your passing game. You know, it's just you guys are kind of more reliant on your run, and you're a little more successful running the ball. So.
Well, in Pennsylvania, you know, around this time of championship weather, a lot of times all the passing the ball gets thrown out the window.
Yep.
Most of the state champions are run first teams.
Right.
So
you better
have a recipe.
That's a great point. Like Ben said, when we first started doing this show a couple months ago, you know, the 2 goals are to run the ball and stop the run, you know, and you're going to win most games if you run the ball well and you stop the run, you know. So, Dave, you want to jump in at all before we let these guys go?
Eli, is Coach Hecker, does he want you to wrestle this winter?
I mean, I think he definitely would have liked if I did that last year, get ready for this year, but I don't think he really cares too much now after I'll be gone. But
yeah, he's your senior now.
Yeah, but he's been trying to get us all wrestling, especially all the underclassmen.
What other sport you play, Eli?
I play baseball in the spring.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a great program. You guys had a great year last year.
Yeah. Oh, that's baseball. That's baseball land over there.
Yep. Yeah, Sean Abner. Anyway, back to Christian. I know you went to Villanova. Had a nice visit there, recruiting. What's the latest on your recruiting?
That's crazy you asked. I just recently got a D2 offer from Mansfield University, and that was my first offer, actually.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, I'm talking to a pretty good amount of schools right now, so hopefully after the season, some schools take a chance on me.
A lot of these,
Somebody has to want a Christian Joy. I mean, that's just the kind of player a lot of coaches want. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah, they're going to be checking out how you guys do in the postseason. That's
Mm-hmm.
the
Keep winning.
time.
Keep winning.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Well, listen, unless somebody else wants to ask anything else, we're going to continue with the show here. Let these guys go. Eli Ryder, Mechanicsburg quarterback. Your team's 10-0. You got a bye heading into the postseason in 5A, the 5A tournament. Christian Joy, your team's 8-2 on the season. You got a bye in the 3A tournament. You both had great seasons so far. You and your teammates, your coaching staff. And we're really happy for both of you. We really appreciate you coming on. The last thing I want to ask you is we got one of our sponsors is Payor Apparel, and they do like sportswear, clothing, and stuff. And we're going to get you guys each a T-shirt. Eli, what size do you wear?
Probably an XL.
Okay, all right.
XL.
How
How
about
tall
you?
are you, Eli?
I'm like 6'3", 6'2",
Okay,
6'3".
okay.
He likes it loose, though, Ben.
I gotta check you guys out, man. I gotta check you guys out.
How about you, Christian?
I'm probably a large.
Okay, all right.
You're not no large.
Bro, I'm
definitely
big body,
medium.
bro.
He's
I'm big
Definitely
body.
he
medium.
has a-
If I could fit the medium, you could fit the medium.
He's got some
Yeah.
size,
Yeah,
man. He's got
look.
some size.
He
All right.
170 medium.
All right. Well, maybe they all right. So anyway, you'll get some Payor Apparel T-shirts. Thank you so much. We'll get out and watch you guys again between now and the end of the season. Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate both your time.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
Yep.
Thank
Take
you for
care.
having me.
See you guys.
See ya.
Where's
Dave
Dave
leave us
Burman? Oh, there he is.
I-
Sorry, Dave. I removed you along with the guys. Sorry about that, buddy.
Anyway, I like the interviews with the
Oh,
kids.
they were great. Those guys were great. And Dave, we watch, and I know you watch a lot of football statewide. I'm not discounting that at all, but Ben and I watch local football. Those kids are badasses, man. They're really good players.
I
Christian,
have to check Mechanicsburg out. I have to really look deep into
Yeah.
him. I'll see him during the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, he's good for sure, Eli. Okay, so let's jump into this Mechanicsburg or State College 58, Mechanicsburg 55. I know, Ben, you were watching that one. Or
McDevitt.
Got Mechanicsburg on the brain. Thank you. McDevitt 55. Crazy game. So State College is up 21-0 in the first quarter, and then they win by 3. They hold on to win by 3. Total yards were 569 for McDevitt, 500 for State College, and just a lot of players put up a lot of big numbers. Were you watching that game, Ben?
Yeah, I watched it. I saw. It seemed like State College had control of the game for the most part, but there was times in the game where McDevitt stole the momentum. But
I wouldn't have
21-0. It seemed like they had it in control for the most of the game, but McDevitt didn't give up. They showed some fight. They definitely showed some fight.
McDevitt to me was a lot faster. I mean, once they started, McDevitt kind of stopped running the ball altogether, and they started throwing the ball out in the flat. And every time they complete that pass out in the flat, they pick up 15, 20 yards. Did you see that too?
Yeah, like you said, McDevitt's athletes were better for sure.
I mean, it's
Definitely had the
Dominic
better-
Diaz Ellis is one of the receivers.
Number 5, the running back.
Jonte Quick, Nazir Jones, Davis. Yeah, they have. Man, are they in good shape, McDevitt, offensively? For the postseason and the upcoming years. So I'll tell you what didn't help McDevitt at all. 14 penalties for 93 yards, and you guys both know this. Sometimes a lot of penalties don't hurt a team because they don't come at bad times, and you can kind of endure them and play through them. Some of those penalties were not good for McDevitt. They did not help McDevitt at all. So you do want to kind of clean that stuff up heading into the postseason, right?
For sure. And then State College is probably, I don't want to disrespect 5A, but if they're probably just as good or if not better than every team in the 5A bracket. So for them to go to war with them like that, I think that definitely prepared them to win at least the first goal was to win districts.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Hey,
So
what about Matt Lintal? What more can you say about him at State College?
yeah, he just keeps winning.
Year number 11. His record now getting close. Well, let's see. They won. He came in career win, I guess, number 100 now. He came into the season 90-34. Oh no, he's at 99. He needs one win for 100. Matt,
And I
Wait,
think where do they go next,
is that
Dave?
against?
okay,
Is that Mifflin County?
have automatically been crowned the District 6A champs because Altoona has, with a record of 1-9, they have declined to go to the District 6A championship game. So Altoona wins it, and that is number 10 in 11 seasons for State College Districts. I talked to one of the assistant coaches, and he said that State College is going to look to try to go through next year the District 3 tournament because they rather play than have a bye.
Yeah, it would make sense for sure.
Well, they have two buys, correct?
Well, technically, maybe.
Yeah.
No, there's only 2 teams in District 6, 5A and 6A. They might have 3 weeks off, 2 weeks.
Wow. And then they'll play what, the District 10 winner, McDowell, or
I think, yeah, we'll see. McDowell has to play Erie higher.
Okay. All right. And then I guess the last thing I had kind of jotted down here, and you keep hearing, Friday night and all weekend, man, how bad are these defenses? How bad are these defense? Some games just go down that path, right, Ben? I mean, obviously there's a need to tighten up some defense for both teams, but I've seen 2 teams with good defenses both give up lots of points because once the running and gunning starts, it just keeps up.
Yeah, every game is a new game.
Right. There you go. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Every game is a new game. So the goal is just to win, whether you win by 1 and you score 100 and you 199. If it takes 58 points, it takes 58 points.
Bingo. Thank you. That's the point I wanted to make. And I'm saying that kind of out of respect for Linthal and his guys and Coach Wechter and his guys that, like you just said, next week's another week and I'm sure they're going to have some things to look at. But I think both teams will be fine in the postseason. So how about Harrisburg 56, East High 17? I was at that game for a half. I left at halftime. I was kind of discouraged. 23 seconds to go. East gets the ball, or Harrisburg gets the ball, and they had to go like most of the field. I don't know, 80, 75 yards or whatever, and they score again. With 23 seconds left, and it kind of put an end to that game. But that's 3 straight losses for East. They have given up 152 points in the last 3 games. State College, McDevitt, and I don't know if it's in that order, Harrisburg, or McDevitt, State College, Harrisburg. That's a lot of points, man. That's 50 points a game. Central Dauphin gave up 79 points. I know Central Dauphin's at home watching the playoffs. I'm just trying to make a point here. They gave up 79 points to the same 3 teams.
It's bad that it happens now because you're giving up 50 points the last 3 games, and then now you're seeing Central York, who has a really good offense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, every game's a new game.
Right.
You never know what can happen, but the momentum train isn't in their favor right now.
It is not. And East will get Central York in the second round. They both earned a first round bye. It's kind of weird. You don't know whether to call it a first round bye or these play-in games. I think I talked to you, Dave. We're going to call it a first round bye, right?
The first.
Yeah. There's 4 teams that are playing in. They're playing their way into the second round. But let's call it a bye. East earned a bye. They have 7 regular season wins, and then Harrisburg will get Dallastown. Harrisburg to me looked really good yesterday. Not just because they scored 56. They looked aggressive. They looked tough. They looked fast. They looked like Harrisburg, dude. Did anybody else have a chance to watch any of that? They looked really good.
They did. They got their guys the ball in space, and then they got the running game going. They play well. They definitely play well.
That looked like Harrisburg high football, man. Harrisburg will get a reliable source. Will get Kevin Brown back. I was told that they're going to keep him out until the second round of districts, or it would be the third round because they have an opening round bye. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not playing doctor, and I'm not playing Harrisburg know-it-all here. But I was told that Kevin Brown will be back here within the coming weeks. but they lost Kymir Williams. He got ejected, and I don't know if that's a 1-game suspension or a 2-game suspension. I hope for their sake, for Kymir and Harrisburg's sake, let's hope it's a 1-game suspension because he's kind of one of their guys, right, Ben? Like they rely on him.
Yeah, he's a two-way player. He plays offense
Yeah.
and defense.
Correct.
And he's the punt returner, and that's big.
There you go. Yeah. So, and it's just there's kind of I don't want to call it bad blood, but at least there's bad sports blood between those two football teams. Okay, the two programs. All right, they don't like each other, and I could see it kind of around the middle of the second quarter. I saw things getting chippy, and the guys I was standing with, I'm like, this ain't going to go right. This not going to go in the right direction here, and that's kind of what happened. It looked like Kymir just kind of fed into a situation where he could have walked away from. But he's a kid, and that's what happens. It's emotions run high, and so we wish Kymir well, and hopefully it's just one game, and great game for Harrisburg. I don't know what else to say. They just really looked good, and I've been saying it all year long. That's what Coach Calvin Everett's good at, bringing his teams around when it's time to really play important football.
Okay, I want to bring up the brackets here. 6A, they're up. They're up. Actually, the brackets are up. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. Eastern PA football. So 6A, all right, State College has a bye. There's a first-round game, Erie, McDowell, and Erie. That's basically the District 10 championship.
And they're both pretty good, I think, this year.
McDowell should win, but we'll see.
Right. Is that this weekend?
Yeah, that's if you're interested at General McLean High School, 7 p.m. on 11/1, which would be what, Friday night, guys?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So then State College will play not this weekend, of course, but the weekend after. All right. And so the winner of that will play, looks like either Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, or Williamsport. So if State College most likely is going to, my prediction, win the first round game of the states. Then they're going to go to the quarterfinals. And
District 7, right?
Yeah, then they're going to play, they're going to beat either Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Hazleton, Williamsport, and then they'll play in the quarterfinals the District 7 champ.
Oh, I forgot about the District 11. I forgot about a whole route. No, they got to go to District 11 first, did you say?
No, District well, that's District 2. District 2.
Okay, yeah. So they go right out to they'll play Pitt Central Catholic or North Allegheny in all likelihood.
The way it looks, and then that game will play the District 3 champ this year, just like us down here in District 1, right to the state semifinal. So there's a possibility it could be State College against Harrisburg. Wouldn't that be another great one?
Man,
would that be 3 years? Would that be 3 years in a row? Or no? No, that was 2 years ago they played.
That was a good game too at Severance Field. Man,
I feel like they played 2 out of the last 3 years.
Yeah, that game I remember announcing that game.
I think they did, Ben.
State quarterfinal game in 2021, and it was won by State College on a late field goal, 16-13 at Severance Field.
Okay, so let's jump in.
The following year, I think Harrisburg beat them 28-7 or something like that.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
I'll get to that in a second. Go ahead.
Let's jump into our speed round here. I got a bunch more games. Let's just try to, say a comment or two about all of them. They weren't, at least for our purposes, as important as some of the ones we just talked about. But these games were important to the players that played them and the coaching staff and the schools. Cumberland Valley 38, Cedar Cliff 14, played at West Shore Stadium. Cumberland Valley needed a win to get into the postseason. They kind of took the same path the last 2 years where things didn't look really good for them for portions of the season. Especially just last week, they lost to Chambersburg, did Cumberland Valley. And they were playing for a spot in the postseason. Either team that would have won would have made it to the postseason. And I wasn't too surprised about the outcome. We had Nolan Bazalka on the show earlier a few days ago. And he didn't say anything about the game. He just said, I think he said they felt good. They looked like they were ready and stuff like that. But Cumberland Valley, another different quarterback. Freshman quarterback Colton Stamey 4 touchdown passes. Again, on the road at West Shore Stadium against a pretty tough Cedar Cliff team. So, anybody want to say anything about that one?
I didn't know a freshman coming in.
Yeah.
So the future is looking bright then, unless that was a fluke.
No. I don't know, but 4 touchdown passes and they don't have a whole lot of offense there at Cumberland Valley. You know that, Ben. So he probably had to make some stuff happen. You know what I mean? You're not just going to throw the ball up for grabs and.
Did he get his opportunity through injury, or was it a
I don't know.
decision?
I don't know. I didn't know until I read it in the next morning on Penn Live, or later that evening. So, but it was worth noting though. Colton Stamey, 4 touchdown passes, only a 9th grader. Central Dauphin 28, Chambersburg 21. I mentioned it because Chambersburg had a win and in scenario, and they weren't able to win. They were up. It looked like late in the game, and Central Dauphin scored last and knocked Chambersburg out. Chambersburg has only one win over Central Dauphin in over 20 years. Wow. And you kind of felt like they probably thought over there, this is our chance. All we need to do is beat CD. We've been talking all year, and 3-7 is 3-7. Okay. But Central Dauphin competed this year with a lot of teams and lost the game. So I wasn't surprised that they went over there to Chambersburg and walked out of there with a win. And I'm going to say hats off to Coach Glenn McNamee and his guys. I know that Coach Mack is happy, not about a 3-7 record, but his guys didn't quit. They had the same attitude every game going in, and it's not easy to do that, Ben. You know that. I'm sure you've been on some teams that things weren't going well. It's easy to just kind of put your chin down and go, when's this going to end?
Yeah, it takes a heck of a coach to keep you motivated through a losing season.
Yeah. So Susquehanna Township 35, Milton Hershey 21. Susquehanna Township had lost 3 straight games to Milton Hershey and 5 of the last 6. And that game was kind of tight for a little while too. Remember, we were all like kind of texting together, and I was keeping an eye on it. So Susquehanna Township, they had to take a forfeit, and we're not going to get into that. Maybe we will on Wednesday. That situation is a shame. It might not have even been anybody at Susquehanna Township's fault, but it was an ineligible player, and so that takes their record from 9-1 to 8-2. But still a very good season to this point for Coach Joe Heaton and his guys. Steel High 41, Newport 7. Have to mention that because it's Steel High. We like Steel High. They share the Capital Division title with Juniata, who they lost to, but it doesn't go to head-to-head. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, you mentioned that. You mentioned
whatever
that
the records are. Yeah, it's a share. They share it.
Is Juniata 8-2 as well?
Yeah, in the division, I think they are. Let's see here.
And it's a shame that you have to share if you win head to head.
Even if you win head to head, 7-1 in the Keystone. Yeah, so that means there's 9 teams because they play 8 games. Yeah, you to kind of feel if you were Juniata that you were the champs. Remember, Dave? That happened with Mifflin County and Shippensburg about 4 or 5 years ago.
2018, Mifflin County.
6 years ago.
Well deserved. They shared the Colonial. Yeah,
and they beat Shippensburg. And I told you that year. That's when you and I think we first met right around that time. And I said, you know what? That's a share of the division title, and a lot of people don't realize that. And I actually just contacted Rod Frisco. You guys probably know who Rod Frisco is.
Yeah, man. Frisco. He was reporting when I was playing. Frisco.
Yeah. Yep. And he's helped Dave and I, over the years with stuff. And I said, Rod, are they still using that way of determining? And he went and he called somebody, and they said, yeah. So that's a share for Steel High, but another division title. Camp Hill 48, James Buchanan 14. And then outside of Mid-Penn, but still in District 3, kind of the big boy game, Wilson 34, Manheim Township 16. Manheim Township had won 19 straight regular season games, but Wilson has now beat Manheim Township 3 straight times at Manheim Township. That's not easy to do.
My man, Doug Doms.
Yeah,
It
man.
seems like Manheim Township is struggling to beat Harrisburg and Wilson. You got to beat them teams if you want to win districts.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I will say, and listen, I'm saying this with respect to Cal Everett and his guy. Harrisburg's more talented than Manheim Township every year. They have better players. They just do. They're bigger, they're faster, they're tougher. Maybe not bigger. I don't know. Manheim Township can, but they're a really good team. Yeah, until they run into a couple of those teams that you mentioned. I mean, if Harrisburg plays the way they played yesterday, they're going to be hard to beat, man. And in the district tournament, what do you think, Ben? You watched them; they look like
Well, I mean, we haven't seen Harrisburg lose in the district tournament in almost 4 years or something. So it's like, no matter what seed they are, they're probably still the favorites, to be honest.
Yeah.
Joe, you want me to run down the
Let me just finish these, and then I'm going to give you as much time as you want, because we don't even have to talk about these. LaSalle College 35, Roman Catholic 16. Really not a bad loss for Roman Catholic. I mean, they lost by 19 points, but LaSalle College is really, really good. Roman Catholic has to finish out their season. Dave, you can talk about this. Playing St. Joe's Prep and LaSalle back-to-back weeks. There is not a tougher back-to-back weeks, 2 games in the state of Pennsylvania any year, for sure. St. Joe's Prep over Bonner Prendy, 49-14. Easton over Nazareth, 63-55. Easton wins that 6A division up there in District 11. Chester and our friend Coach Dennis Shaw, 43. Belmont Charter 0. West Allegheny over Montour, 13-7 in overtime. Montour coming off the big win against Aliquippa last week, and they take a loss. And then Penn Cambria 28, Bishop Guilfoyle 27. That's 1A football. Bishop Guilfoyle was ranked, I think, number 2 in the state, maybe, and they were undefeated. They were 9-0 going in. So go ahead, Dave. You want to talk about? Okay, here, Dave is our District 1, District 12, and District 3 specialist. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, District 3, you guys pretty much covered that.
What did I say? District 3? 12. I'm sorry. 1, 12, and 6.
All right, District 12. You guys are right there with me, even following this along. So LaSalle College and St. Joe's Prep 6A, they'll meet in 2 weeks for the Philadelphia Catholic League Championship. The loser, it's over. And St. Joe's Prep has won 8 straight Catholic League 6A championships. They've been to the state finals 8 years in a row, and you know all about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then after that, it'll be Imhotep will win the City League win the Public League 6A championship, and then it'll be like a first round game, and it'll be, but technically it's a Philadelphia City 6A championship. It'll be Imhotep versus LaSalle or St. Joe's Prep. I don't know. That's still a toss-up because you guys saw the 4 overtime game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that was kind of still baffling, But man, what a way to set up the rematch, though. Having those two teams play that game, that 4 overtime game.
Yep, and it's do or die. Buck South, top seed in the District 1 6A tournament. Keep an eye on them. Let's see. We have down here. All right, Chester still only got a 7 seed, 9-1 record, 3 years in a row, league champs, Del Val. Only lost 4 points, darn it, to Imhotep Charter. But because of some of the teams they played didn't have the greatest records, they had a lower seed. So they're 7th, but that's okay. We're going to host a game against Upper. Well, we'll talk about that Wednesday, right? We'll talk about it.
Yes, we will.
Chester's taking care of business. Strathaven lost. They got bullied by Springfield Delco. First time Springfield Delco beat them in 6 years.
That's big.
A lot of lacrosse guys. Salazar from State College lacrosse guy. But Springfield Delco is going to be a tough out. We've got the Bayard Ruston. That's a possible Ruston second round matchup. And maybe we can get a coach or two on our show on Wednesday from down there if we have time on Wednesday. It's going to be a tough out. And the Philadelphia District 12, it's kind of confusing to see who plays where. But I know in 5A and 6A, pretty much what's going on.
Hey, Dave, you mentioned Ty Salazar from State College. Yeah, he is I'd say, I think his first sport is lacrosse. 8 receptions for 213 yards and 3 touchdowns Friday night against McDevitt. There were so many gaudy offensive stats in that game. I just didn't have time to read them all. You know what I mean? That's a heck of a game.
Well, to get a good read, go to easternpafootball.com. Dave Micah has all the brackets. I mean, everything's. You can just see who's pretty much going to play who. To be, especially it'll clear you up, guys, on the Philadelphia District 12. Who's going to play who in 3A, 4A? Again, 6 more weeks of high school football to go.
Hey, how about this? Kirby Lentz, our friend Kirby, he just said, "Hey, Dave, Sixers win in overtime, 118-114."
Embiid.
So, I think I don't know if Embiid played, but I think, what do they go to? 1-2 now, the Sixers?
Yep. How about combine our college football teams? Division I in Pennsylvania combined 14-0, Penn State and Pitt.
Yeah.
I didn't know Pitt was undefeated.
Yeah, that was a big W for I don't want to discount Pitt's win, but that was a big win for Penn State. Because I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys watched it. For about a quarter and a half, Wisconsin looked really, really good. And it wasn't that Penn State didn't look good. Wisconsin, they were just kind of clicking on all cylinders. They were physically tough. And Penn State kind of settled in and figured it out. And Bo Prabula from Central York. Did you know, Ben, that he came in early in the game?
I watched the game.
Okay,
the game changed with the pick. Yeah, the game changed with the pick 6, and then he kind of put the game to bed.
Yeah, man. He just my buddy was texting me, my cousin actually. He said, "Man, Prabula is smooth back there." And he is. He's smooth. Like, you can see he knows what he's supposed to be doing back there. He's kind of fast for a quarterback.
Yeah, and when he runs, he's not sliding. He's running like a running back.
Exactly. So, yeah, he went to a state championship in 2021, maybe.
It was
COVID. The COVID one.
It was the fall of 2020, and they had to run into.
Okay, so he graduated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and they had to run into St. Joe's Prep. So, anyway, I just got off track there. I derailed talking about football. All right,
college. So many of our guys that we followed over the years in high school are playing at a high level right now.
Right. So, guys, we did a great job there tonight with. I didn't want to talk a whole lot about the postseason because we have a whole show coming up for that. We had great guests. Christian Joy and Eli Ryder were fabulous guests from Trinity and Mechanicsburg. And I think we broke most of the stuff down. Dave, let's give you an opportunity to kind of give Mifflin County's legendary, what field is it? Give it a send-off.
90 years. It's all over. Mitchell Field in Lewistown. 90 years. They held their last game ever. They're building an $18 million sports complex right next to the high school in Mifflin County, where you actually were in the gym for a couple of times.
Yes, I've been there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be an $18 million facility funded by Kish Bank and the Don Chapman family.
So they'll be sponsors forever then.
Forever, and they have
when you build the joint, you're a sponsor forever.
Yeah, if I gave $5 million, I would be Dave Burman Field.
Right, exactly. Or if Ben gave $5 million, it would be Big Shot Ben Dupree Field.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, so Mifflin County a miracle win against Redland. It was 4th and 16 for Mifflin County. About 2.5 minutes to go. They had the ball at their own. I think it was 40-yard line, 4th and 18, like a Hail Mary pass. And the Redland defenders it was triple coverage on the guy, Cyrell Green, but they didn't try to knock the ball down. They tried to catch the ball.
Right down the middle, too. Right down the middle of the field.
Oh, and it was
Cyrell Green, he's kind of their offensive stud, their go-to guy, right?
Yep, he scores the last touchdown ever. They had a touchdown called back, but they scored on a 70-yard. I think it was a passing play, Redland. A minute later, and all of a sudden a late flag comes up, and then they said a man was illegal downfield or something like that, so they took that touchdown away. It was just they were destined to win, Joe. Because that would have ruined. It really would have been a damper. But they win the game. They end up 4-6. They are not going to the playoffs. I heard they're not because district. It's like a sub-regional now, but we'll get to that on Wednesday.
Right.
And Yeah, so it's a historic, and I think they're still going to use the field for some things up there. But yeah,
Right.
and Mifflin County goes out with a W, and hopefully the sports teams, the fall sports teams up there, get better because it has been a struggle.
Right. Ben, what's you've played 10 games already. Let's put yourself back in that mindset. You're kind of everybody's dinged up. Everybody's got some bumps and some bruises. What are you feeling like going into that first game of the postseason, having 10 games behind you? I mean, whether you're 5-5 and you got a really bad seed or you're 10-0 and got a great seed, it's an all new season. Talk a little bit about what you're feeling like as an individual player and what your team's kind of up against.
Yeah, so I remember after the last game of the season, I just had that feeling of, all right, now the spotlight's going to be on us because 75% of the teams are done playing.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got the spotlight on you, and now when you play good in the playoffs, that's when you become a legend. That's when that's what people remember you for. So I just remember the playoffs being the time to really show people who they were, because no matter what, the competition in the playoffs, the first round we might not be too good, but that second round and that second game, I should say the first game might not be as competitive. But most of the time, sometimes it is, but that second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, obviously, that's
Right.
when it starts getting really competitive. It's good competition. You get to really prove who you are. So I know the feeling, and I'm excited to see what's about to happen these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you broke my heart, man, in the basketball in that district championship game. I'm a big Steel High fan. I was sitting center court about six rows off the floor when you put that shot in between the top of the key and half court, and the rest was history. Huh? That was a big deal.
Yeah, the rest is history. Most people who know me as that around here, they remember me for that instead of football.
Yeah, well, I just had to mention that. That was kind of my first. I realized who the heck you were at that point. I'm like, who is this guy? He just ruined my whole trip down here to Giant Center.
Yeah, and that was my 10th grade year, so I didn't make too much noise in football. Yeah, I started and played well, but I definitely made a name for myself in basketball first.
And now you're friends
really,
with those guys. They're Steel High
I mean,
guys.
I was friends with them before the show. We all
Oh,
played
okay,
AAU
that's
stuff
good.
together.
Yeah, I like to
So,
hear that. That's awesome.
yeah.
They'll never have a chance to get that game back, will they?
No, they 2 weeks later they got us back.
They
but
did.
I still got my claim to fame.
Correct. Dave, go ahead, buddy.
Love to see a Mid-Penn Commonwealth team win the PIAA state championship in football again. I mean, technically, well, McDevitt, 2 years ago won Keystone. It's been a while, Joe, hasn't it?
2011 Central Dolphin.
Old
And
school, public versus public schools. North Penn, Dick Beck.
And they beat North Allegheny in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And before that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Cumberland Valley in like 1992 with John Ritchie. I think we've only had two big school state champions.
Let's see here. I have the whole. Cumberland Valley beat Upper St. Clair, John Ritchie, in 1992. Let's see, McDevitt with Fort Chapman, 95. I'm just looking at Steel High's won total of five titles.
Yeah.
Right.
07, 08, and then the 3 out of the last 4.
Yep. I gave a shout to Coach
Sarah Catholic and Clareton in 07 and 08.
Yep.
And I think Yarnovich was on that staff in 07. I could be wrong though, but I believe he
Central
was
Dolphin, and then you got Harrisburg. Harrisburg 0 for 3 in the state final. Just getting there is unbelievable. So Harrisburg lost to Archbishop Wood 37-10, lost to St. Joe's Prep 40-20, and lost also to
St. Joe's Prep
2 years ago 42-7. So anyway, we'll just one game at a time. But anyway, yeah. So technically, it's been your Central Dolphin team, and McNamee Glenn was the coach then, right?
He was the coach then, yeah. And
2011.
Fort Chapman, he's the only guy I'm aware of that won a state championship as a player. He was the quarterback. Now, it was a mythical state championship back then. Did I lose you, Dave?
But
No.
Forrest showed us that clip of him when they beat, was it Still High in the district championship?
Yes, 7-6,
He did the
I think.
bootleg. Yeah, he showed us. I had him as a teacher. He used to show us all those
Right.
games. He did a bootleg.
That had to be fun.
Yeah,
having him as
he showed
a
us
teacher.
He showed us a lot of football. I know a lot of high school football because of him. He showed us the whole run when McDevitt won when he was the coach with Jordan Scott. and Rakai Nelson.
That's who we should get on our show on Wednesday, or at least one of these shows upcoming here. We still got 5-6 shows. If we take this the whole way to the end of the season, so I'd love to have Ford Chapman on as a guest. Okay, we lost Dave. I don't know what happened. I think we're about done here. There he is. All right, Dave, we're going to sign off here, buddy.
Sorry. You know what?
That's okay.
Listen to this. Somebody tried, second time this has happened in our show. If somebody's trying to call me on the phone, I don't know how I can stop this. It cuts me off.
You better get that fixed.
That's what happened with me too. But you can if you have an iPhone, you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
That's what I do with my phone. Yeah. So, guys, thank you. We lost 2 of our MVPs for tonight. We got Travis Waters. He's down at the Commanders game, and I don't know what happened to Terry, but hopefully we'll have them back on Wednesday. Everyone, if you're watching, Wednesday night at 7:00 this Wednesday, I believe it's the 30th, we will have our postseason preview show with Ben Dupree, Dave Burman, myself, and hopefully Terry Clark Jr. and Travis Waters. Once again, we want to thank Eli Ryder, quarterback from Mechanicsburg, for joining us. Great season so far for him and his teammates. Christian Joy from Trinity joined us tonight, and we're real happy for both of them and their teammates. And tomorrow night, one more time, I want to mention episode 17 of Gazette Sports Chat. We have Emma Kostelak-Lauer, Anna Lehman, and Sienna Mans. We're going to talk about the demands and what goes into being a multi-sport athlete. Again, Ben, you were one. You know that it's not a real easy thing to do. You got sometimes you have seasons that kind of overlap and different kinds of training. And so looking forward to talking to those 3 young ladies. And thanks once again to Rickabaz Electric, Payor Apparel, Larry Bragg, my friend Larry. We got a couple more T-shirts for you to make. Ted's Bar and Grill, Hoffman Ford, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, the Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, Modern Imprint, Team PA AAU Basketball, Crystal Bob at Howard Hanna Real Estate, Underdog Sports Bar and Grill, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Sam Hartley Decking, and Tonino's Pizza. Thanks very much to all those local businesses. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Ben. We will talk to you soon.
All righty. Take care.